Move on. Let's take a look at some NFL things. Let's start with the Colts. Big win against the Chiefs. Let's watch the highlights here. It was a lot of fun to watch that Colts game, and really Indianapolis came in as the big underdogs, and instead they were able to come out and strike first, as you see here, within 12 and a half minutes to go. In the first quarter, Jelani Woods, he's a third-round pick at tight end. He's one of those big-bodied guys that the Colts love to bring in, and he was able to catch that first touchdown. Colts strike first. Who would have thought? Couldn't score against Jacksonville, but they score first against Kansas City. However, a big drive from Travis Kelce gets him all the way down the field with about 30 seconds left in the first to score that touchdown, and now the Chiefs are on the board. And now the Chiefs are rolling. Colts will kick a field goal. McLaughlin playing pretty well in relief of Blankenship, but here the Chiefs just run one right in the end zone. Pretty simple play. Not much trickery like what we're used to. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had the catch. Here's the two-point conversion, though. Mahomes on the run. And who does he always go for in these situations? Travis Kelce at the goal line. He lost the ball, but they overturned it, decided that this was a successful two-point conversion. You see he reaches across the goal line. Had enough. He had enough hold of the ball, so he had good enough control. Now let's skip ahead to the fourth quarter. 30 seconds left. This is a big-time touchdown from Jelani Woods. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns for the third-round pick, the rookie for the Colts, and he had himself a great day. Now the defense, 5 seconds to go. They have to do something here, and they do. Rodney McLeod, a first-year Colt, came over and made a great interception of Mahomes to seal the deal. Colts win 20-17. It was a great game. Indianapolis were able to come out and come away with a win. So you tie the Texans. You lose to the Jaguars in very embarrassing fashion. But
Shutout.
You can come in your home opener and play very well against the Chiefs. It was a pretty fun game for Indianapolis fans, and really a great outlook on the season now moving forward for the Colts.
Yeah, defense stepped up big time for the Colts, and that's something that we aren't really accustomed to seeing so far in the season. But you know, it was a good showing for Matt Ryan as well. I think he played well given the circumstances, and you know, not having all his receiving core back yet, I guess. Alec Pierce is still out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He came in and was able to play this game and actually had a few nice catches as well. But for the Colts, or rather, the Chiefs have such a high-powered offense. We're used to, since Mahomes came into the league, has been playing very well. The Chiefs have been held under 20 points just 7 times in those few years that he's been the quarterback here. They've won a Super Bowl, been to another in that time. Held under 20 points just 7 times, and the Colts have done that twice to the Chiefs. They seem to have Mahomes' number.
Yeah, they're the Achilles heel of the Kansas City Chiefs, I guess.
What do you think this bodes for the Colts moving forward now? They're tied for second in the division. They're right there. Of course, it's a pretty poor division, as you can imagine. But what can the Colts use this win to move forward in the rest of the season?
I mean, if they play like that every game defensively, they're going to come out with some wins and probably end up winning their division. Now, we've seen a tale of 2 Colts teams in these 3 games this season. If they play like they played against the Jaguars or like they played against the Davis Mills-led Texans, there's no chance for them to win the division.
Good news for the Colts, though. They were without Shaq Leonard for the last game and still able to play well in defense. So you got to imagine in the next week, 2, maybe 3 weeks max, hopefully Shaq Leonard can come back and play that big role in the Colts defense that he does. So it should be a pretty good outlook going into the season. Let's switch gears. Let's take a look at my favorite game of the weekend outside of this Colts one. How about the Dolphins and the Bills? Came in 2 undefeated teams, of course, just in week 3, but it looked like it was going to be a fantastic matchup, and we were not disappointed. Things went very well for both teams all the way to the end, even at the end of the half. Tied 14-14 going into halftime. Was a bit of a snafu there with the snap. The Bills were trying to go and get in the field goal range, clock the ball, and kick the field goal to take the lead in halftime. They were not able to, something that ended up being a theme later in the game. And then we got to more of the second half when the Dolphins, it was towards the end of the game, the Dolphins needed to punt in the back of their own end zone and get good field position for their defense. Instead, went off the butt of one of the up men blocking for the Dolphins back of the end zone. That was a safety. So now the Bills had just down by 1. There was about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit less on the clock for Josh Allen to come through and try to make something. He went all the way down. Isaiah McKenzie had a catch. All you had to do was get out of bounds. That's all you got to do, Jake. Get out of bounds. And instead he cuts it back upfield, and they couldn't get the spike off in time. So Dolphins ended up winning. But it looked pretty bad, especially after that punt that went off the butt of an own player.
Butt fumble, butt punt, I guess. It's going to define their franchise for the next 20 years, I would assume.
For sure. Mark Sanchez was definitely celebrating when he saw that one. He had some of the blame deflected off of him, but really it was just a great game and a preview of things to come here for that AFC East. This should be an exciting rest of the season. The Dolphins are legit, my guy.
Oh, yeah. I find it interesting that Tua cooled down finally. and had an off game, I guess. I mean, no interceptions, 1 touchdown, 186 yards, but the fact that they were able to win without Tua throwing for 450 yards is an encouraging sign to me.
Yeah, what was pretty kind of alerting for a lot of Dolphins fans was the fact that Tua was hurt. He ended up taking a big shot. He had to go to the locker room, be evaluated for a concussion. Ended up being a lower back injury, but he didn't look very good at all going into the locker room at halftime. Came back out in the second half. He was able to play, finish out the game, and we'll see him on Thursday night against the Bengals in what should be a great game there.
Yeah. Chase Edmonds, 2 touchdowns as well. I like him as a streaming option in fantasy leagues. I think he'd probably be a good pickup, but let's switch gears and let's preview the Monday Night Football game, Cowboys versus Giants.
You'll hear about that next. Let's go ahead and step aside and take a break when we return Monday Night Football on Last Call.